right?
Shough, yeah.
Okay, good.
Shough and corn.
Oh, I know. It me up when you played Notre Dame
Yeah.
pregame show this year. It totally did. I was like, wait, you say Shough?
Yeah. Shough like
Yep.
yeah.
As I'm really good at saying so that's good.
All right, we're on camera here.
No, it's all right.
not on
Trust
this show.
me.
We can
say
swear
the
here.
same thing. Let them fly, baby. That was back in February in Indianapolis.
Yes, my kind of guy.
It got bleeped then. It didn't get bleeped about 10 minutes ago when Chris let one fly on a live program. But here he is live with us today, a guy who has engineered 4 straight victories in his rookie season with the New Orleans Saints, quarterback Tyler Shough. Tyler, good morning. Thanks for some of your time. How's everything going?
Morning, guys. It's going great. Going great. Excited to finish strong this week. Appreciate you guys for having me on.
It's been fun to watch what you've done since you became the starter. You've got the 4 straight wins for the Saints. I think 5 overall. The rookie record previously for the organization had been Archie Manning, who went 3-5-2 in 1971. When did things click for you? Can you point to a moment where it's like, okay, I understand this. This is going to work?
I think it's been a continual progression. To be honest, I feel like I started off the season, you come in, through OTAs and camp, and you're trying to make every single play look perfect and make every single install the best that you can. And it's a continual progression of learning. All right, this is what the play is supposed to be. I'm learning this new offense. And then you get to run the scout team. And now you're running, plays against really some of the best defensive guys you've ever seen. And how can you make that look the best that you can? And you learn and continually learn. And I get opportunities to start. And I think for me, it was that first game against Matthew Stafford and the Rams. And we only had like 40 or 50 plays, and just the importance of time clock and ball possession and keeping the chains moving forward. And it was a really good learning lesson for me kind of going forward on the impact of that situational football and how can I, influence the guys around me as a quarterback and make sure we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'd love to stay in that lane a little bit, right? Like I came into the NFL, played for John Gruden, and I was like, oh my gosh, these plays, how freaking long are they to say all the time? What about for you? What was the hardest adjustment when you first got to the NFL and saw the playbook and got in the NFL building there?
I think it's just the first time you're doing it with some of these guys where you have no idea how this guy may run this route, or taking a snap with Eric McCoy for the first time, going into a team period, thrust into it, and how he likes the snap count. You're running this play and you're obviously in a quarterback competition, so you want to make the best play possible and run that play. But the defense is also coming up, and we haven't talked about what they're doing versus the split double mug front or what they're going to do, and they're dropping out. So you're like, well, I don't know what our answer is yet. And I think it's just the part of that growing process and learning process. And then when you kind of get to play actual football, and for me, that was just making sure the scout team was as dialed as we possibly could. And like you said, learning those plays to where now it's kind of become more of a second language, and you're not running this play for the first time. And how can I put my feet and my eyes in the right spot to give me the best chance? And I think it's a credit to the coaches and credit to everybody around me, just kind of helping me prepare that way.
Chris mentioned his relationship when he got into the league with John Gruden, and it was rocky at times, which made it incredibly entertaining. Shed some light on your relationship with a guy who's in his first year as a head coach, Kellen Moore. How do you guys communicate, like in-game? Give us a nice example of just how it's working, because it presumably is. It'll be far more entertaining if it's not working, if you want to tell us a story about dysfunction. But just give us an idea of how things are going with your new head coach.
I mean, it's been great. I think just, he's played the position at a high level, at all levels. He's quite frankly the opposite of John Gruden as far as his personality on and off the field. So I don't have to worry about that. And I love Coach Gruden as well. But Kellen's awesome. He's cool, calm, and collected. I remember last game, I pulled the ball on a run, and I'm not supposed to pull the ball. It's the tight end's gap hinging backside, and he's chuck blocking. There's nobody to read, but I kind of was a spur of the moment. And I came over to him. I was like, man, I'm sorry. I got to give it there. And he's like, it's all good. Don't do it again.
Right.
And he's just so like next play mentality. He's the same dude every single day, which is, I think, why we all respect him and love him, because he is who he is. And he's just got all having fun and playing together.
What about, I love to go down this, this avenue here of, again, like, what about like the physical adjustments to the NFL, right? I know when I got in the league, I was like, oh my gosh, the pocket collapses so much quicker. Or wait, this guy is open? You want me to throw to that? That's open in the NFL, right? What was it for you that you were kind of like, wow, okay, I didn't expect it to quite be like this?
Yeah. I mean, it started out in practice to where, you're thinking this guy is open and really it's a matter of throwing guys open versus man coverage. And then in the zones, where can I fit this in to keep the ball moving forward? And for me, it was really scout team. And I'm going against Chase Young and Demario Davis and Alante Taylor. And every single, like you said, the pocket is almost 100% of the time not in your favor on scout team. But
Right.
I think the first 3 weeks I had 68% completion percentage, and I was super intentional about my reps there and having two hands in the pocket and moving up. And I was just having a lot of fun. And I learned so much because it was almost worse in practice. That way, when I got to the game, it was just kind of another rep and just another rep. And so that was the best thing for me. And then, the first game you're going against Jared Verse and Byron Young, and then you're playing against Derek Brown and the Panthers and all these, every single team. It's the best guys you've ever seen. And you have to just have that mindset of, F it, I'm going to keep going and doing my job. And how can I keep moving forward?
Right.
Tyler, you got your first start in week 9. You've gone 5-3, 5-2 over the last 7 with 4 wins in a row. If I'm a Saints fan, I'm excited for the future, but I'm also at some level saying, man, what could this have been if he'd have been the starter from week 1? What would you say to a Saints fan who would like come up to you and say, man, how good would we be right now if you had been the starter since week 1?
I think everything happens for a reason, and it's a hard thing to put your mind around because who knows, and I think it's all intentional by the coaching staff and for me, and I wasn't ready to play week 1 necessarily, to at least of what I've learned to this point, and I think I have so much to continue to learn and grow, but the NFL is a tough business, and say I start out the year and we lose a couple games, and there might be a different narrative. So I think as part of it's how it goes, and my job is to kind of continue to learn and stay ready. And I think the coaches understood that throughout the flow of a season, I got to be ready, and I knew when I got an opportunity, that I was going to try and make the most of it.
How would you explain to the viewers, right? Just as far as like people out there watching the show, where your comfort level is? You start 1-3, right? It's a little up and down, whatever else, and now, man, it's like they're like, hey, you're good. Start throwing the ball, dice them up, surgically destroy them here, right? But in your own mind, like where are you at now as compared to that 1-3 start? What is it? Explain to the viewers where you become more comfortable and be able to see the game more clearly and play so well.
I think it is just the understanding of situational football. It's a continual learning process. Like I said, the Rams game, I'm learning, okay, this is how, like, we can't run 40 plays and expect to win. How do I keep moving forward and understanding what they're trying to attack against us? You have a great win versus Carolina, and you come the next week and we lose to our rival, the Falcons. And it's just, I think it's part of it. It's a continual progression. And for me, just trusting my abilities. And I think we've just been having fun as a team together more than anything. I think that's the biggest thing that kind of Kellen's been preaching, is just having joy in the journey. And we're playing our best football right now because we've been playing complementary together. And you got guys around me that kind of, believe in me, and we all are playing together that way. And it makes it easier as a quarterback when you can kind of lead the charge.
Chris Olave has been on fire lately. 4 touchdowns the last 3 games, 119 yards against the Titans, 148 on 10 catches against the Jets. One of the many great Ohio State receivers in the NFL. How has that relationship and connection with him flourished in recent weeks?
I mean, it's been awesome. He's the same dude every single day. He's more soft-spoken, but he's a grinder. Like, he's battling through injuries. He's showing up every single day, and he's just explosive. He's one of the best I've ever seen, getting in and out of breaks. His speed is unmatched, and so he's just a beast. I know he's going to be great for us for years to come, hopefully. And but for me, I didn't really start off having a bunch of chemistry with him because I was more throwing to the guys that I'm kind of throwing to now, and it was on scout team or getting reps with the backup. So I think the first couple weeks I hadn't thrown to any of the starters or hadn't done any work with it. So I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying, Chris, is it's just a lot more just learning lumps, and you don't necessarily have the full, trust of what this guy's body language is going to look
Right.
like. And now I think continual reps throughout the season, and you're getting every single rep in practice, and now you're game planning, and Kellen and I are texting. And so there's a little bit more of comfortability there. And obviously with Chris, we're pretty dialed on what we're kind of thinking, and as well as Jawan Johnson as well, just being able to get a bunch of reps with him. And trust him.
Yeah. I mean, it's been awesome. You guys are on fire right now, you and Olavi. I mean, 2 peas in a pod. Okay, but I want to be a little more fun here too, right? Mike's heard me tell this story. When I saw Julius Peppers the first time on an NFL field, or Calais Campbell, and they played, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're this big or that good, right? Who's been that one guy so far in your rookie year where you were like, I can't believe that guy when I saw him in person, or I didn't realize he was this good? Anybody come to mind when I asked that question?
Yeah, I would say Derek Brown of the Panthers, and then I mean you got to go to Antoine Winfield of the Buccaneers. I think two different versions, but both on defense. I think Derek Brown, like, you're trying to scheme up all these different runs and all these different plays, and it looks good on paper, and then he completely wrecks the entire play and
Right.
Blows up a double team, and it's just like, that's why you pay that guy a bunch of money. Everything looks good. And then Antoine Winfield, he's, a smaller safety, the opposite size of Derek Brown, but he's flying all over the field. You got to know where he's at. So I think it's just kind of cool watching these guys, on TV, kind of whenever you're in college growing up, being able to play against them, but also not giving them too much credit. And you're like, you can't go out there and be like, wow, I'm such a big fan. You got to go out there and play. But
Right.
You obviously have the utmost respect for him.
Tyler, you mentioned the Panthers and the Buccaneers, and there's this crazy scenario that's coming up this weekend where the Panthers and the Bucs play Saturday, and if the Panthers win, the division's over, that's it. But if the Bucs win, then all of a sudden the Bucs become Saints fans because they need the Saints to beat the Falcons on Sunday. And it just occurred to me, you swept the Panthers this year. This is kind of a way to beat the Panthers a third time if you beat the Falcons and knock the Panthers out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal is to beat the Falcons because we owe them one. We got to go out there and finish strong that way, and that would be a best of both worlds there. 2 birds, 1 stone if we could do that. But I think everybody's in the same mindset. We're having fun playing together. Why not finish this season on a strong note? Beating our division rival, and being able to kind of mess things up there.
What's your next, the next thing you feel like you want to conquer, right? I mean, I know you're focused on this week, but I know you're a smart guy. You've been around football. You were taught by Jeff Brom, right? But what's the thing this offseason you think you're going to look at to go, I can get better in this area to improve my play?
I think for me, it's just making my footwork consistent. Whether that's being a left foot up or right foot up guy, I think talking with the coaching staff there, but obviously continue what I'm doing. But whenever I feel like my footwork is dialed to the exact route and the exact play, playing each play for his own life, not letting the previous one determine the next one, and especially my feet and having them calm, moving upwards, being ready to escape. Great things happen whenever I'm doing that. Whenever they're a little bit off, then that's where some bad things can happen. So whenever I feel like those are completely dialed, it's a lot of fun playing. And so for me, that's just kind of my continual work that I want to make sure that I'm great at. And, I also have so much more to learn and continue to master this offense as well. That's kind of one of my main goals, is how can we kind of take this thing to the next level? Because this year it's been year one, and there's been a lot of base stuff that we're doing, and I think we can kind of continue to climb that way.
Well, Tyler, we got to let you go for now, but I have a feeling we're going to see you in San Francisco because you're going to have a command appearance at the NFL Honors because you're going to be one of the finalists for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I know you don't want to talk. You just will be. It's a no-brainer. I was looking at the names. I was looking at the odds. You'll be there. So hopefully we'll see you at the media center and have another conversation about how your first year went and how your second year may unfold with the New Orleans Saints. Thanks so much for some of your time, and all the best moving forward.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Keep kicking butt, man. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.